Do you ever think that an organization called the World Collective Organization should be established? And this World Collective, if you want to call it that, all people, all backgrounds from everywhere, any country, any nation, any profession.
Yeah.
To make a lot of robotics in the beginning. This is calling on NASA or anyone who can build a rocket and whatever, or each to their own. And these then start putting out scouts around the solar system because they say rare earth minerals. Well, where do all rare earth minerals come from?
Space.
Space. And therefore they're no longer rare. They're abundant. I'm almost sure of it. Perhaps not all of the things that we find on Earth are going to be, well, they've got to be. But some of the processes needed are in Earth. But where does most of this come from? Space.
Yeah.
So if we had a team that were scouters, we send them out in all directions, all nations, everywhere, as many people as possible to get behind this. As many rockets go up, and they send up as many probes as possible to look for certain elements that individuals need. I think that if businesses put into this pot far more, I think it would be it'd be more wise to go this way than it is to go through all of this, what we see. So I think that, the first things first, you would need scouts. Scouts to go out. But there again, these probes are going to need to drop things down to the planet to get down. And then there's going to need to be a lot of digging. An awful lot of digging. Well, there's several ways to do that. Sending in, if we collected an asteroid and smashed it into a planet, it would blow out a crater, which then means that it should expose anything that's under the surface. Canyons, different things like that. So, in that, the problem is getting the robotics to work on limited power supply. You could do it with other gases, hydrogen, fuel, and different things like that, or an array of solar panels that sit out on the surface. I mean, this is probably very complex to be able to do it. If only we could send energy Nikola Tesla style. Using, because what would you do with that? If this is possible in Nikola Tesla's invention, sending power through the air, might not work on Earth, but could work on the moon, to be able to have a load of solar panels that could wirelessly send the power to a probe that is going into a cave or a cavern. A bit far-fetched, but what about the very first remote control type vehicles that you have that were connected to a cable, a very long cable, that could go into the cave and use the, if we're talking the moon and it's 12 days light, however many days, I'm just giving an example where it doesn't have to be all accurate, but a thin enough cable that if you kept the device simple enough, that it have this retractable cable, a bit like an extension lead, the further out it goes, yes, it's going to be limited, however, we're going to be more limited if it wasn't in this way. And then it had a set of radio-controlled versions that could go off to scout away from mothership, let's say, and then it comes back to the docking station and recharges. You're going to get a lot further than you can off of just one that was sent from the cave opening. Do you see what I mean? So the platform moves with this power cable attached to it. As this moves, it then sends out the scouts. This thing can be used to have light. One goes that just powers light so that you can see. Another one is more about looking and scanning. To find these, I think it would be easier to search through the Kuiper Belt, Saturn's rings. There's got to be abundance of stuff there. And to start finding these minerals. Some of them are not going to be present, I guess, unless there's lack of salt water. But if there's ancient salt water on these planets, then it might have allowed the minerals to deposit long enough for the minerals to deposit, although not an abundance of them. But it all depends on the processes, especially if it was old Mars. Send these down, and you can get into caverns. Especially in the moon. The moon's closest neighbour testing grounds. This way you can be down there for at least 12 days. And then you can send little scouts out in multiple directions to go and check, find all of these things, and then in the meantime, if you find some abundant minerals, stick a little, I would say a tracking device. Not tracking device, it would be more like on these remote control versions that go from the platform and they only have to go back to the platform. When time comes, you send another platform that then connects to this one, and then further in, and further in, and further in. So you can send the power, and now let's say you get 250 meters inside the cave, but it goes on beyond that, then you'll know that you'll need an X amount of extension to connect to this one, which then sends another platform of scouters. And when they're there, it's a bit like the NEC. Oh, this is a good mineral. You stick that NEC into the rock face, wherever it may be that you found that mineral. And in that NEC, you would then label it as what type of mineral you have found. And so on to somewhere else and somewhere else. You just put these little markers out. That then gives enough time. You found them. Now on Earth, you can build a bit more Pacific robots to go in and then start mining away at that. When you begin to then do that, they work on the same process that you will then need another platform, depending on how far deep this goes in, whether you're going to need to dig up, whether you're going to need to dig down, side, left, and depending on how many alternate directions you're going to need to go in, it's always best to go up first before you go down. Because if you dig straight into it, you're going to find it harder to reach up. So it's always best to go up until you've exhausted all the resources that are in that area, and then start to go down. And then when these are going to need to be brought back to the surface here, this can be ready for manned missions or robotic missions. Probably be a bit more fun if it was a manned mission. It could be done with robots to then go and collect these resources. These take care of all of this under the surface whilst bring it up from the surface. What is the point in digging into the moon if you've already got a cave? If you've already got a cave, that's 90% of the work done for you. You then just need to focus in on obtaining it. And with these NEC stamps, we can put in there what type of mineral it is, and then when the next bots come, so these ones will always go scouting. The cave gets deeper and deeper, therefore you're going to need to be able to bit by bit. It doesn't matter if this takes 10 years, 50 years. What matters is that resources start getting put up to the surface. You know, if this would have been done in the times when Kennedy was alive, let's say, we would already have a massive string of resources coming in. And in these empty caves, after they're done and there's no more resources to be had, let's see if we can start building something in it. It's below the surface. What makes that good? It's protected from micrometeorites. It's protected from solar radiation. I'm almost sure that it will be. You've already got power platforms there. The next set of bots that come are to build structures there, farms, houses, whatever it may be, that could be put there, bases. Plus with this, you've already got the electricity is always coming down. Wherever you find this, you need electricity. Let's say if future goes on and there's a way of sending wireless power through that rock face or moon surface. It seems unlikely, but it's possible. It might work that way. Again, opens another door, an avenue. That would be a nice thing. But in the meantime, you could do it from a rather large array of solar panels that sat out on the surface. And if this only worked for 12 days, and then 12 days where you couldn't, 12 days where you could, 12 days where you couldn't, whatever the time scale is, it doesn't matter. Because at least you know within those 12 days, progress is going to be made. No matter how small, no matter how large. The same on the surface, that if there's enough power and you keep going, you could then go over to craters with using this process. But you could add in more solar panel arrays closer to here, closer to here. The more power that you get on these areas can also feed back, as long as it isn't too far away. Power from solar panels doesn't always reach in these areas because the power starts to get less.
Yeah.
But if you connect batteries
Mm-hmm.
along the journey,
Yeah.
they tend to pull it. Then they'll pull it from this battery, which pulls it into this battery, which pulls it into this, which makes it to the. I've done this one. This doesn't need to be proved. Yes, it's a bit more sluggish at charging up. But when you've got, if you remember in Bannon when doing that,
Yeah.
when we're converting the car,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Yeah.
converted the car and then used the car engine to go through loads of cooker cable,
Yeah.
which was really thin cable anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But thicker than any other cable. When I run it from the car over to the place where I wanted it to go, it didn't work.
Mm.
But when I put a battery from one battery to another battery, it works.
Yeah.
But when I had it so that it was just from there to here, it didn't work.
Mm.
So much like you've got bulbs on a wire for
Yeah.
Christmas lights,
Yeah.
replace the bulb and put a battery there.
Mm-hmm.
You can move the current quite far,
Yeah.
and it has quite a whack to it.
Mm-hmm.
So for whatever reason, this works. Why it works, I don't really care. So, and then you can put in more cable into it, which more cable, more flow, and this should boost up the power from one to the other. Yes, if you get a fault in one of these batteries, it's quite detrimental. And the first battery always drains out. I was using lead-filled batteries. I had lots of car batteries. I was using car batteries to achieve this.
Yeah.
And I was able to move the power a lot more further than I could have done. And that battery here was not depleted. Plus, if you put in MPP charge controllers to push the charge to, this works just as good.
Yeah.
From here, if you do it a certain amount away,
Yeah.
you don't overrun the MPPT charge controller with too
Yeah.
much power.
Uh-huh.
You give them too much power and they pop. But in order to navigate away from that, extend the cable so that it's getting the top end of the power, but it will never ever get over the odds. You can get quite deep, I believe, into cabins and different things like that. So in that time, you could take a piling rig, a
Yeah.
simple piling rig that if you are going into the cave and your solar panel is here, but you're going in to a cave like this and the surface is like here, yeah?
Yeah.
If you could pile down into the surface because you've made the cave and made lots of little holes, you can feed down solar panels into that to go into the line to keep this energy pushing,
Yeah.
to keep it going. You can drill into the rock in this way.
Mm-hmm.
You would only do this if you found something that was worth value. Then you don't have such rare minerals. They no longer become rare earth minerals, they become abundant minerals. So much so that you've got so much more minerals, you haven't got enough businesses to, you just can't shake a stick at it. It's almost like the universe, solar system, is almost like, here you go Earth, I'll give you a few of these, look, here you are, here you are.
Yeah.
I mean, if there ever was ET, the easiest way to distract any life forms on a planet is just throw in a few meteorites. They'll be distracted over, going to war over it or something like that, whilst you're busy mining their universe of all their minerals. I mean, give you a little, we'll take the lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
When it comes to leaving, we'll know that they'll end up staying there anyway. You can always overlook things in this way because you're too busy focused in on what's on the planet.
Yeah.
And then we sit there and call it rare. And then we say earth. And then we say minerals. So we program ourselves, well, they must only come from the earth then. These rare earth minerals have only come from earth. We've got to keep looking on the earth, got to keep looking on the earth. But yet, our nearest neighbour being the moon, I should really point that way, but our nearest neighbour being the moon, how much is there? Problem is, moving away all of that let's say, surface layer
Yeah.
to expose what you really need. Next one, Mars. Have this all set up, all ready and raring to go.
Yeah.
I mean, Venus is a hot planet, so they say, so we can't get down there. Well, if there's no life there, why can't you shade the sun? You're trying to shade the sun? Yeah, go further back away from the planet with a shield and you cast a bigger shadow. Closer to it, not much of a shadow, but more further away. And keep this in its orbit to lower the temperature enough on Venus in order for you to get down there. Well, it's because of the pressure. No, I thought it was because of sunlight. Trapping into this greenhouse gas, running away with this effect. You want to heat up Mars? Magnifying glass, reverse it. What's a magnifying glass? Further away, more. You're going to concentrate the photons onto the planet and warm it up. What's good for one is you just reverse it. This may seem like a challenge, but I can tell you what. Eventually, and a bit by bit that you get doing this, you become, and what happens if you learn something else? Able to shade yourself whilst your craft moves away because the sun's getting too hot. This can be very valuable knowledge and very interesting. And, you know, again, if we got good at this, that we could reflect light from a panel, you know, try to make a signal go from here, here, and here. You dot the moon with satellites. So you just need to hit one that relays into the other one beside it and then beams down. You could do the same with light. If you could bounce the light from the sun, even in the dark times of the moon, sure, people on Earth are going to see it, but if they're all in the know and we all build this, it's not going to be a spooky thing. What's that strange light on there, Dad? Well, that is because they're reflecting sunlight onto the solar panels, so these robots get to work 24/7. You could build nuclear infrastructure there and use nuclear power to, you know, achieve this. Combine your water and different things like that, but use a different type of cooling system. You don't have to use that. This would then give you power that the whole mothership, being the one that goes in, would be, you know, that would be your power, moving powerhouse, if you like. If you made it into smaller versions of it, that moved on platforms, then the rest scout away from that. Dig in, look in, done. Once this is finished and the next bots come in, these scouts, you've learned something. You've learned how to navigate the terrain. You've learned all of this. Once you've done that, this can go off to do something else. And by that time, you would have built even more scouts. So there's even more potential. So there's even more looking. The discoveries on Earth only get made, perhaps not when you've got like a few hundred humans on the planet. You don't know a lot. Well, why don't you know a lot? Because there's too much going on around you and not enough eyes to see what's going on. And even if you're seeing it here, that's why we evolve. And when we all come together and share the knowledge from each side, we shift what we once knew. Superstition begins to fall down. This begins to go out. This phases out. Why? Because you're collecting the information, but you're only good at knowing stuff with the population that are there to see it. The more minds you've got, the more breakthroughs you have. The more eyes you have, there's more to see. There's more to hear. The more feeling you've got on the planet, the more you can feel and experience different parts of the world without ever needing to go there, because someone from there can tell you about it. If you've never been there and didn't even know it existed, and they come and tell you something, so you could take it in early man. Let's say all the continents everyone was on island. No, that's a bad example. Let's say everyone was on the United Kingdom. They don't know that there is anything else apart from ocean water that surrounds them. But yet you have someone that, let's say, come from France and travelled over. First ones to build a boat, second ones to build a boat. And they tell you, oh, yeah, there is bigger lands over here and this sandy stuff and different rock. Nah. No, there isn't. We have never seen it. Yeah, you have to go over there. You mean to tell me over all of this water there's other things? Yes. Yeah. first, we were believing that you were the only ones that were existing on this little island. Never dared to explore beyond the water because you couldn't see further than what you understood. I know you can see, but still, let's say you couldn't. You didn't know. And then this caused you to explore more. And then once you unlocked that, and all the people began to know that, do you know what happened? They started rowing everywhere. Why do you think they were rowing everywhere? There's got to be more of this stuff, right? More to conquer, more to do, more to be, more to do. Yeah. And then at the same time that you were putting this out, you were learning. You were teachers and learning. So you were students and teachers all at once, although everyone claims to be the teacher. But you're not really, because what you were teaching, you were also being taught yourself. And then this abundance in knowledge made you go back. And then if someone else came in, they were also teaching you something new. And then you begin to learn blah, blah, this, that, and the other. If you were to do the same with space, the same with the other planets, you've got more eyes, more ears, more feeling, more the human element of anything. You can learn so much more quicker because you've got more of you out there. Well, if you've got one group, man, that's very slow progress. That's going to be the slowest thing that you'll ever have. So individuals that get together from no matter what your background is to make rockets, not just make rockets, but also get to space and figure out a way which will be a blueprint to be a collective, to go out and collect. Because to sit here and to go to war and do all of this stuff over mineral content or anything else like that, it's just, it served its bloody purpose, I think. I think it is time that we all started to level ourselves up together as a nation, as individuals within a nation. Because if our leaders are not going to do it, then it is on us and the people of the nations, regardless of where you come from, for us to go out and do this. For us to push back beyond what we have been taught and what we believe to be possible. And it's time for us to learn what is possible for ourselves. And the more we come together with the more groups sending up more rockets to bring in more resources, this is going to be the only way. And I think that it's going to be so important for our next steps that we will know as individual, as collective, that we are capable of building our very own version of Earth, our very own star, that when this one runs out, we'll have this. When the Earth runs low, let's say it becomes no longer habitable, we will have it. We're not going to wait for anybody else to do this for us. We come together and we are the ones that begin to make this happen. We're not going to wait. Why should we wait? And I think that the more we begin to come together with this, the more we are able to unlock not just our possibilities, I mean, take us by surprise, but us together formulate this. It's the only way forward, I think, that we could do this where we do it via a leader here and, you know, oh, we'll just put this person in. This person's sending up the rockets. That's it. That's not enough. That's not enough. And then how much of their resources are they going to be able to bring to share with the whole world? It's not realistic, and it's never going to happen this way. It's, you know, I think that if it was going to happen, it would have happened, but it hasn't. Because, you know, there's too much of this. You know, we've got to learn that we are all one in this, that we are all equal. There's nobody above us and we are not below anybody. We are all equal and quite capable beings to be able to achieve this. We've got to push past our beliefs. Together we can all help each other with that. And slowly but surely, as we begin to do it, we will begin to believe more in our abilities. And as we begin to venture out, we can bring more in for our children's futures. Yes, because we can do this together. There is so many humans on this planet. Our potential is unlimited. And I think the more we feed ourselves this, the more we begin to feed ourselves. We're not doing it for one group. We're not doing it for a small group of individuals. We're doing it for every single one of us and our children. And that's what I think that was where we need to get. And I think that the whole of humanity, all of us together, me included, we all need kicking in our own asses. And we all need to sort of start pulling ourselves together and to start teaching ourselves and believing and breathing possibility into each other and having faith in one another. Because I think this is going to be the only way that we succeed. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have to do it together. I think we've tried it most ways. I think we've tried it. We're waiting. And I don't think that we're all in this together. Mm. I think the only way we get in this together is when we begin to come together. And there's room for everybody in this. So a new group. That means that there's place for tech companies, there's place for inspiring tech companies, there's place for robotics. Anyone that's got a fascination in this, there's a place for mums, there's a place for children when we grow and they grow into adults. There's a place for everybody in this. The leaders will support the mundane stuff, I guess, take care of whatever it is, that has been taken care of over ions. But I think this is where we need to all come together. No longer as your nation, my nation, but as human beings. Yeah. Each of us with unique gifts that are no different to the stars themselves. Supernovae, red giant. Yeah. They don't care. They're not in competition with each other, but they all got their defined role to play. All of them are playing their part. They know that they're going to create life. And if one is mixing a slightly different, abundant material over here and burning in a different way, and it's going to produce certain elements, and this one over here is going to be burning in another way, and it is going to be producing a different element to this one. There's no way that there's a difference in the two of them, the way they live, but they're still doing the exact same thing, which is going on to give life and transform the universe as we see it and know it. And that's mineral content. Mm-hmm. This is like each one of us humans. Mm-hmm. We may burn a little different, but our mixing is going into the grand scheme of things. Yeah. We are leaving a legacy behind for our children. Yeah. But not only that, we no longer want to leave a legacy, we want to put in our children's hands resources. Yeah. We want to teach them that we've got to come together and talk about our issues, not fight about them. Mm-hmm. That's how most of the populace has been grown up, to sort problems without the need for violence. Mm-hmm. The planet is big enough for us to live in harmony, even if we don't agree with each other. Yeah. We can live together. It would be up for the rest of the collective to put a barrier between the two. Mm-hmm. And the planet is big enough. You might not enjoy this person's company over here. Even if we both move, we can still live in harmony doing our same things. Yeah. You're not better than this person, and this person isn't better than you. You are each doing your unique thing and contributing to the larger scheme or plan. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where we've been blessed within our minds. We are all capable, even if we think we aren't. And this might not be an easy road. We might not know where to start, but at least let's make a start together. Let's make a start. Let's find our feet. Let's get together. Let's find the resources. If we all chipped in £1 or the equivalent to across the entirety of the world, think how much money that would be. If we all chipped in, and let's say there isn't money, let's say if we all chipped in, some of us take care of the food, some of us take care of the shelter, others take care of finding the stuff that we need to build this stuff, others are good at doing the technological side of soldering or whatever it may be, building all of this stuff together. If we all came together on this, there ain't nothing that can stop us. Nothing at all. The only thing that stops us right now is our self-limiting beliefs. And let's break free together. Let's break through as one freaking nation. Think about that. If there is 8 billion of us, or if there's 9 billion of us, each donating £1 or at least their time, an hour, how many billions of hours is that?
Yeah, that's a lot.
What could we do in that time? There is that many of us compared to the beginning. And if there was less humans in the beginning, but they managed to row their asses around the entirety of the world looking for more landmass and learning, what do you think we could do if there's more of us all working together? It should sing to all of us. We all become famous in our own right. We all become the beginners of this new world, where we chart our way and we put names out for each and every single one of us that did this. Our names, and we keep adding names to the collective over and over and over and over and over. Build the ship on your names. Each one of us have a brick and a signature.
Mm-hmm.
It just takes that cornerstone. The cornerstone is to be laid first.
Mm-hmm.
All of us together. Time has been generous to us in this neck of the woods. The star has been generous to us. The planet has been very generous to us. It's not going to go on giving that. It most certainly is not. And in that time, we are squandering it. If we continue on the path that we are going on, and an event happens to the star,
Mm-hmm.
or our planet becomes beyond point of repair,
Yeah.
how much time would we then have to collect any of the resources to build this? We wouldn't have the time.
No.
So us being aware and waking up to this now, while we got the time, while we got the chance, while we got the luxury to take our time hoarding this stuff in order to create something that goes on, our legacy, our collective legacy of humans,
Mm-hmm.
plus animals, plus nature. It's a wonderful thing in space that if we were to grow food in space, do you know how strange this is? That if you were to take a square, rectangular, but we'll say square,
Yeah.
module, yes?
Yeah.
And if we were to put a light source in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
we could grow nature all the way around the outside and it would all grow towards the light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Think how much you could get in that module. That's all sides, all growing toward the light.
Yeah.
Every single one. How much food could you get in there? I mean, because in this room, if I was to convert this into a place to grow food,
Yeah.
I've just got 1% to utilize.
Yeah.
Well, 10%,
Yeah.
maybe 20, but I can't use this wall.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I could, if I'd got the light source good enough. Why are we still growing at that 1%, if you want to say that?
Mm.
But we fail to utilize the walls, the
The
ceiling.
ceiling. Yeah.
and I feel that we are operating at this level.
Mm.
When, by now, educated, and we should be operating from this level, from all angles. We would grow so much more food if we aligned our minds while we got the chance, while we got the thought, while we got the know-how. It isn't about the 1%, it's about all of us. I've seen it. I've seen the way these bunkers have been built. They will not harbour all humans on the planet. They will not harbour all humans inside the UK. They will harbour a few, a select few.
Yeah.
Why are we living like that? Why do we accept that and call that anything but a life? Where is a nation that is bunkering out for all people, for all the people that support it?
I don't know about any.
This is the type of different mindset that we got to get into as humans. We got to do it for everybody, for all of us. We are all as equally important. Not just a few who choose themselves. Regardless of your religion, your belief system, all of us together have a unique story to tell, and a fascinating one at that. From spiritual leaders all the way up to religious leaders, we've all got our unique part.
Yeah.
We've all got it. That is the true thing of democracy. We get to choose what we listen to. I like to listen to it all. All rivers lead to the sea. Well, talking of a sea being one sea that is all the way across the world with one piece of land mass, if there was one piece of land mass and all the oceans would always be destined to lead to the sea. All trees reach for the light. Maybe. I think that if we started to shift our mindsets, while we wait and wait in complacency, believing, a belief, the biggest belief system is they're there for you. This is there for you. This is there for you. That's there for you. Actions speak louder than words. Why should we have one small group that choose themselves?
Yeah.
Every single time, pick themselves. We get into this foolish belief system because we know how our families operate, but our families are always going to be there for all of you. No matter how many arguments there may have been between you and your family or the fallings out, as soon as something happens, you all come together, supporting one another. In this situation, I don't see it. And I'm not sorry to say it, because change my opinion with your actions, not your words.
Do something about it.
And I think that if we were focused in on this sort of stuff, I think that we would, all of the pettiness would just fall away. Where's our attention right now? Where is everybody's attention, it would seem? Just take a look at the views on something. This is telling you where our attention is.
Yeah.
Should we have our attention on something like this?
No.
Because we're feeding it.
Yeah.
We're feeding it. We're not betting on ourselves. And then we are selling our capabilities. What we're really fully capable of doing as a human species, together as a collective.
Yeah.
We're selling out. We're squandering our ability. What it truly means to be humans. Your ancestors come from a very long line of individuals that moved stone, that carved stone. And if we circle back and we all came from Africa, or we evolved from different pockets, some came from Africa, some came from here, some came from over there. Look back at your history, because when them numbers shrink down in your bloodlines, they were capable of building that stuff.
Yeah. Big stuff that surprised others who never saw it.
Equally, a characteristic that is shared across the whole of the world is look at what our ancestors were capable of doing, and that still resides in you. That same power resides in every single one of us.
Yeah, and it's still here, isn't it?
It's still there.
Yeah.
Buried over layers of labels, of quick-term gains. So do I believe that we are capable of doing this stuff? Yes. Yes, I do. Why? Because when I ask these questions, I look for evidence in history. Look at it. Look at the monuments that have been built. Now, whatever your belief is, your higher belief, whatever it may be. When you pass on, I guess it's the question. You want to tell it that you played it safe? Or do you want to tell it that I was capable of greatness? What did you do with this? Oh, that's the story. Your individual story and your collective story. Collective story. From food. Protected growing. Why is it protected? Earth is subject to change. That is what weather is. Weather has lost its meaning for change. Environment, change. All these things have change in them. Although it's silent, right? A bit like the H and the E on certain words. Change. Solar system, the silent change. Universe, change. Do we stay in that and accept it and be consumed with that change? Or do we change and break away and become our change? Do we want to keep bitching about the environment every time we get massive amounts of floods? Or do we want to start bitching at ourselves for not doing enough? Lifting ourselves off and building something that is no longer that. Do we want to see all of our crops go? Well, it was the universe, it was the world, you know? Oh well, there's always next year. Or do we want to say, no, enough's enough? We want a farm that is indestructible, that is no longer subject to this. We no longer bow down to... It's out of your control, but you need to put this in your control. To have food at the abundance and never have to worry about it again, whether you're going to have enough food to eat. Whether your children are going to experience a famine. Oh, it's all out of our capability. It's not. When we begin to align, it's within our capability. It's come a long way. I wonder if Edison knew it, the invention of the light bulb. If he truly knew what he was making, Tesla's fluorescent tubes, if there was Tesla, not sure. Do you think they knew what they were doing? They were intelligent enough to know, determined enough. But they didn't settle for lights out at night. When the sun went down, that was it. They weren't settling for candlelight flickering and the smell and this, that, and they didn't settle for that. The ones before it that made the candles, they were not settling. Our ancestors did not settle for darkness when it came. They wanted to light the night. Paris.
Yeah.
It gets dark, humans. So, come on, accept it. No. We'll turn a light on. It's no different. Your crops are going. Do you accept it? Do you submit to that?
No. You try to do something about it.
If you believe in a higher power, do you ever think God tests you for a reason?
Yeah.
Do you if you believe in the universal power of the cycles of the universe, which is the very thing that structures that you're in, is the universe testing you? What you got? Do you bow down to it?
No. you try to find different solution or something else. Or...
Either way, the universe is happy for whichever road you take, whether you bow down to it or you excel. Either way, it supports you in your decision. Freedom. It gives you that. That's one thing it does give you, is freedom, choice. To choose whether this is how you are going to live or we're going to do something about it. And it's happy to support you. The truest democracy, you don't even realize you live in it. You can choose to accept or you can choose to rise up. We can choose to look at rare earth minerals all we want. Or we can go and get them and make them abundant. It's a choice. Either accept them as rare, or should we go out and find whether they are abundant? What do you want? Rare or abundance?
Abundant.
How many days is the weather exactly paramount as you like it?
Not many.
Not many?
I don't know. Not
Do you
many.
accept it? No one does. That's why they turn on the heat.
Yeah.
Trying to find that setting that is good enough for them.
Turn on heat, have good clothes, or...
Earthquakes.
Yeah.
Do you accept it? Are you sure the ground is shaking because it wants to destroy things, or do you think that something more divine is rocking the planet? Come on! It's shaking your feet. Well, it's just an earthquake. Well, you can look at it that way if you want. Or is the divine rocking your very plates below your feet?
Yeah.
Do you accept this? Really accept this?
No, people build over and over, don't they?
Well, you're determined to keep rebuilding, yes.
Yeah. Build different.
But we can stay in that pattern all we want.
Yeah.
Or do we choose to build something that no longer gets rocked?
Yeah.
Do you never feel that you're being guided? Do you ever feel it? The whole of humanity, individually and collectively, that you are all being guided. It's not a group of just some, it's everybody. There's room for everyone, not a few. Do you choose to accept that? Based on whether you are born into a certain family or not, whether you get chosen to be taken, because that life is more worthier than yours. Do you feel that within? Because I most certainly do not.
No, I don't think that anyone is more than another else.
So why are we constantly feeding into this narrative that these people are worthy? It's a choice to accept that or not. And I am not bad-mouthing anyone, although this is going to be taken right out of context. I feel that you'll get over it, I'm sure, because it's truth. And you brought me up to tell the truth, did you not? How many laws have you got? How many punishments have I had to endure, like you?
Yeah.
But yet we prance around expecting everyone to lie and lie and lie and lie, as we're seeing. Did we have the same education here?
No.
No, well, I don't know. Oh, honestly, I have no idea if this is acceptable. It's going to take an awful lot of us to work together. From China to America, from EU to Russians, from those to Australians, to Africans, to Mexicans, to Canadians. I'm sorry if I've missed any out. Ireland, Northern Ireland.
South America.
South America. Emirates. Israel.
India.
Palestine. India.
Yeah. There are many. Someone from Northern Europe, Sweden.
To even the Inuits.
Yeah. Patagonia. That's southern.
It's going to take. The point is, if I've missed any, don't take it as offense.
No, you.
Japan.
There are way too many.
Japanese.
Yeah.
It's going to take all of us doing our bit. You may never get a chance to do this again. And when we say you, this may be the last opportunity. Where do you stand? Complacency? People have been firing this at me. I've been hearing this quite a lot. But it's a mirror. You are saying it to yourself and everybody else. The biggest fight is not each other. The biggest fight is pushing back on what we feel we are capable of doing. That's the truest fight.
Yeah.
Our ancestors, look at what they achieved. If they could do that with stone, what do you think we could do with technology? They're all within our bloodlines. We all must have come from a pocket of individuals. Either way, it's in our blood. It's guaranteed. It would be very nice to see an alliance of each and every single government official that calls themselves government to align to this. Every single one that claims that they are chosen. Each and every single business. And each and every single person to align to this. And to begin to gravitate towards it, not because I'm saying it, but because you feel it. You see, there's very strange things that I see in my mind, like if we were to all walk towards this cause, and certain individuals will want to stay being what they are, then why do they not give you the freedom to do this? And they can stay happily doing that with each other. Would they still continue to do that and act that way?
I think not.
Let's use my words very carefully. There is no other way I can say this that is the most nicest way to say this. The reaction is going to be there. There's going to be a trigger response from it. I'm almost sure of it. Some, not all. Sleep on it. Where are you guiding your nations to? Because from where I see it, it's towards disaster, wreck and ruin.
Yes.
There is room for few, but not all. This offer, there's room for all, not a few.
Yeah.
If you believe in a divine power, you're already halfway there. You'll understand this next bit I'm going to say. Do you honestly think that heaven is reserved for few? Or do you think that heaven is reserved for all? I asked that question.
Yeah.
Regardless of the certain criteria.
Yeah.
Shades of grey. I should rephrase that and say majority.
Yeah.
Or do you think it's for a few individuals, that these people will only get to heaven and nobody else will?
No.
Because they've been chosen.
It's for more, not less.
If you believe that all of this is happening for no reason, all of it, the whole lot, is all for nothing. It's all just a fluke.
Some people certainly behave like that.
This is not for nothing. The reasons become clearer. What type of world would you rather? One for all?
Yeah, one that's free for all.
The universe is the biggest democracy ever. You just don't see it. It gives you the biggest choice. Well, it's meant to give each individual a choice. If you believe in a collective. And they're going to come here. They're going to come through you. God, if you want to say that, collected comes with people, guiding people. Your choice. Believe or don't believe. Entertain it, don't entertain it. Listen to the way, don't listen to the way. Up to you. Come through people like Tesla, Edison, anyone else in between that, farmers. The technology is here. It's going to be very obvious that you're not going to find petroleum everywhere.
Yeah.
Not going to find oil. Perhaps not. That would be too easy, would it not?
Yeah.
That gets you going for now. And once it all runs out, it's going to push you into this arena anyway. Or maybe not. Fuel. Anything can be fuel. Think about it. How are we going to move all of these minerals? There's plenty of atmospheric gas in other planets that could be sucked out and thrown out. There's more than one way to do this. That type of fuel will keep you gravitating toward the Earth or stuck to it.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta make a start somewhere. Same can be done on Mars. Same can be done on the Moon. The same can even be done on Venus. The same can be done on the moons of all of the gas giants.
Yeah.
Starting to build something very big enough for every single human to lift the planet. If something was capable enough to allow the life to be created on a planet,
Yeah.
Garden of Eden,
Mm-hmm.
do you think people that are worthy or to be impressive something that is higher than yourself? Do you think it is to how many people were underneath you? No, I'm serious. Let's just put this out for a second. Let's look at the collective, the ones, any vessel that has ever been in the universe that have broken the mold of what they were choosing not to accept what they were given.
Yeah.
They chose to rise. Rising. They chose to rise. Do you think it's about the people that would be under them?
No.
No. If I was a part of the collective, I can tell you, I lay into a little secret, shall I? Shh. It's not a secret. Do you think that I want individuals that are equal to me that walk the path?
Yeah.
We're given a small amount of something and manage to metastasize it, make it bigger. Given a little planet, given a little star, given a little bit of life, given a little bit of knowledge, just a little.
Yeah.
You know, I hear this said to me a lot, an awful lot. What you can do with a little, shows me about what you can do with a lot. Do you understand what's being said to you? You've been given a little. Can you create that into a lot? You've been given a little bit of knowledge with a little bit of life on a little tiny star.
Yeah.
What can you do with that?
Something.
Can you convert it into more? Do humans have the capability to convert that into more? Could they make life, rather than destruction and bring it and make it all smaller and things go extinct? Do you think that they could do so much more with that?
Yeah.
Do you think they could make 2 planets worth of life?
Yeah.
I mean, that's an achievement, right? That would be impressive. Would you find that impressive? If you were part of the collective, would you find that impressive?
Yes.
Would you tell me then, if it's all about being collected and there's only a few going to be chosen, right? Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Then, if you had life form that stayed on the planet, died with the star, didn't achieve anything, didn't rise up, you've got a little bit of life to begin with. You've got a little bit of species. Look at what they could do with a little back in the day. But then you begin to take more. You then begin to build more. You then need 2 stars, equivalent to in terms of light.
Yeah.
You then grow nature to the point where there's just not enough room. What did you do with your life? Don't worry about it, I can already see it. Or are you going to have some other life forms that just destroy everything? Each other, the planet? Which one would you pick? If they're a part of being chosen and a true choice, which one would you pick?
You know which one.
Which one? The ones that expanded or the ones that destroyed everything? The ones that let life slip, kill each other?
Expanded and creative.
The ones that came together or the ones that divided?
One that came together.
Which life form in history do you find most fascinating? Current or any of the ancients? Which one?
Well, ancients created something, didn't they, that we can see so far? So.
Which one in particular, if you had to pick one? Or
I don't know.
this is a very interesting question when you ask people this. Usually they give an answer. Oh, I prefer the Egyptians. Oh, I prefer the Mayans. Oh, I prefer this. Oh, why do you prefer that? Because they did this, this, and this. And look at what they made with very little. How come no one picks now?
Because no one sees much hope in these people that are on the top right now.
The ones that picked a few themselves because they had some sort of right, or the ones that chose everybody? The ones that could quickly end their enemy, or the ones that worked with their enemies? Which would you pick? Come on, you can play golf for a bit if you want, or the collective.
Golf?
Yeah, play it for a bit. I'm going to put my feet up for a second on forward. Go on, you're going to play it. You're going to play the creator, yes?
No, I'm not creator.
No,
you are.
You can play the creator, yes?
How do I play creator?
Which one would you pick? If it comes to a time of choice.
Something creative. As
Something
a creator,
creative.
yeah. Something that left something behind because it was not destructive, was it?
Why would you want something that was less destructive? Because you know it would fit into your order?
Because it feels good, because it's for all the beings that are living at that time,
I know you would fit.
because
And then tell me which one, why would you not want one that was so destructive, only cared about a small group, only cared about themselves, destroyed everything, didn't give a shit about the planet, didn't give a shit about each other? What happens if you bring them into the divine? What do you think would happen?
they will start destroying there as well, won't they? Or at least will try, or at least will poison minds of others.
Or ones that work together, despite their differences. They didn't favour each other. They worked with it.
Yeah. They might create something they didn't even expect because they work together and each of them knows something. So something even more beautiful than they were thinking, or something more interesting or tastier or whatever. I don't know.
So you would pick. So it's even within you. It's even within you. Is it in anybody else?
I think many people are like that. I don't know.
So why does no one say it? Why does it all get lost?
I think it's
Really break free, haven't you?
I think it's resignation, isn't it, in these days?
Say again, sorry.
Resignation in these days on whatever is going on, because you're like, yeah. And then somewhere on the top they will say blah blah blah. And everything becomes regulated, everything becomes whatever. And it takes away the excitement, the liveliness. I don't know.
Very curious about that. And then, which one is worthy of existing? Does it fall in place? Does it start to?
Yeah, destructive can just go because it destroys everything. So.
Until it destroys itself out of existence.
Yeah.
And then, do you think there are levels of tests towards it?
I don't know. Are there?
I would say so. Oh, yeah. I would say so. Interesting though, isn't it? Isn't it interesting? I don't know. I always dive into it. It always leads me on many different journeys. I've had enough time to think about different stuff and when does technology get to a point where you can plug a cable into the head? It wouldn't be plug a cable, it would be more like a load of sensors, and someone will be able to visualize this on a big screen, push it through, and it all appears on the screen. Would it help if you could see it?
Yeah. Definitely. Mm-hmm.
The imagination used to be quite a strong thing in humans, but now it's switched over. You know, it's a kind of downside to technology.
Yeah.
Because the imagination is not as potent as it used to be, because you're expecting it on a big LCD screen or plasma screen or whatever it may be, LED screen. It has taken over your inner. And everything that's on there now, rather than what's in you, has been forgot, and this has become center stage. That technology keeps going, and it will eventually begin to get back on track to what the older imagination used to be. And yes, you know, the best thing watching humans acting, or would it be putting on a mind cap and sending what you think? Could you imagine that as viewing? Which one would you prefer? Real life or this? Well, it's rhetorical because you don't see, but what you see in your own mind, what it's capable of conjuring up within moments, then be able to record it and watch it back on that screen. I mean, that would be amazing. And then we have a whole load of scientists questioning whether the divine is really real, or whether it's just a third-person perspective, or whether it's because of this psychological something or other. I said it! You'll see it, right? Everyone was trying to denounce it, somehow trying to say that it's not real, it's just, you know, is it or isn't it? Could it be? Could it not be? And the more you step out and step up and step up and step up, the stronger and stronger and stronger the link becomes. And as this link becomes stronger, you've earned it. Well done. Welcome aboard. Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Seems more logical, doesn't it? But yeah. Until then, you just get glimpses of it. Ain't no good showing you something that you may never get to, is it? So it must get stronger the more you tune into that. Because it is what you create. And what you create, what are you striving for as a species? Eternity? No. Yes? Could be? To live forever. Well, if you're going to be doing it in this, and then you begin to live beyond what your star and planet was, that all has fizzled out and exploded. Well, you managed to live most, I would say all, the humans, life forms, bacterium, you need it. You'd feel like you need it because it's precious. Look, take the lot. And the more you go on, and then the star ends. You should not be here. You've just caused a very big problem in the whole divine of the universe, let's say just the universe. You've caused an issue now. Well, does that require attention? Yeah, it really does require attention. That requires a lot of attention. And then you keep going, and there are now 2 stars. You could have got 2 existences. By that point, you'd expect any life form that's out there that was capable of doing that. They've now existed beyond 2 star and Earth cycles. So let's say if their planet went on for 10 billion years, for argument's sake. But they've now survived 30 billion years. That's impressive. Wouldn't you say that was impressive? That gives a very big run. Now ask the population. Ask them. Which times are you most proud of, or which times are you more... Do you reckon they're going to be picking the pyramids? The Mayans?
No.
Oh, no, that's a shift. Do you think they're going to be picking the times of when everyone was stagnated? Do you think they're going to pick the times of when everyone was destructive?
No.
That's interesting. What time do you think they'll pick?
Creative times.
Probably the now.
Yeah.
I mean, to tell that to any future generation that's after 30 billion years, let's say, of existing, if all goes well, it will, that you and me and everything here wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It should have died 20 billion years ago, or let's say 25 billion years ago, so we'll give it a good enough margin for when they left the Earth, and that carried on existing past them a little bit longer, which is a long time on the grand scheme of things. None of this that you see to make your own Eden. The water supply would be very different then. And what you eat would probably be a lot more different. What you think would be an awful lot different. I mean, that is amazing, right? Wouldn't that be just everything?
Yeah.
to a creator or a divine or a universal structure, it would have to take its star off to you.
Mm-hmm.
It would bow to that. After everything you endured. That would be amazing, wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
Is that what we're living for, or is it not?
Yeah, that is what we should
The
be living
individual,
for. Yeah.
but the striding towards.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know whether some of these institutions that have been put up, this was the objective in the beginning, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially when we go back in time to when these structures were erected.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what they believed in. The belief system that they had. Come a long way from that. Very long way. It's interesting, very interesting for me. This I find this very. Is this what religious scholars are talking about? And is anyone moving the collective towards that underneath them?
I don't know.
To claim God, Jesus, and all of this. No, this would be where you were at, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect it. I would expect it with you using the word God.
Yeah.
So I think if anything, this would be resonating here. Some of it has been written in ways that might have been, I don't know, let's just say for a lack of a better word, misunderstood.
Yeah.
That we're to stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that got written in, or perhaps that got changed or edited by someone. It's not permanent. That could be rewrote, and a new belief comes from that.
Yeah. It probably will.
I mean, to have a divine hand guide you on your mind, let's say.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be shades of grey in that, right? It's not going to be perfect. We're going to put in our own little bit here, there, and maybe, perhaps, it's possible. Or perhaps the pressures of the world, because, you know, if you write it like that, who's going to feed me grapes? Who's going to wave a branch at me?
Yeah.
Isn't that most of the, you know?
Yeah, that's when they wrote it. When they picked it, it was written. Yeah.
Who's going to carry me?
Yeah, scriptures were written. Yeah.
Living like a god before, but don't act like one.
Yeah.
But it would be all people would have to. Hey, and it's whatever you believe, except for atheism. If you're an atheist, okay, just be careful of that belief system, perhaps. Non-belief is still a belief. Hey, I'm cool for that, but if it starts to melt you down, are you really in this? Are you spiritual? Are you this? Or is it that you don't know what to believe?
Yeah.
You know, that sort of,
Yeah.
not sure. We don't see anything anymore. Well, it's probably because you're stagnating. Do you think? Do you think the more you go, it goes, you go, it go, it go, they go, you go, they go, you go, they go?
Probably, yeah.
Thomas Paine is the most accurate one that says this. There ain't no use administering medicine to the dead.
Yeah. That's true.
There ain't no good giving wisdom to some that are, I don't care. I'm not listening. So do you have to have an open mind or a closed mind in that aspect? I mean, again, you might need a closed mind to focus in on something to achieve an open mind perspective collective, which is all humans. Then it poses me another question. Out of them, which ones would lead us towards this? Believers in something, or believers that are not in anything apart from human? You know, people, what do you believe in? I believe in humans. Okay. I believe in hierarchy. This.
Yeah.
If you believe in that, are you going to go above it? Because you'll feel that you've got to the top spot.
Yeah. What's after?
Yeah. Oh, I'm already there. I made it. Oh. Wait, what? That's making it? I don't think so. Well, from my perspective, and hey, am I in a democracy here? In Britain, is this a democracy? Do I have a right to say these things? I have a right to say anything I like, yes? Within reason. I thought I had freedom of speech, but quick, hide the Magna Carta. Am I allowed to say truly whatever I feel? You know, because there's a very interesting threat that I noticed. There's a very weird threat. If you talk about our establishment, we might come and assassinate you. Well, I'm going to say it. If I'm in a democracy, I should be allowed to say anything, and that's all, anything off topic. I mean, I've heard an awful lot of what you've had to say to me, and the way you would expect someone to live, and the way you tell them how they're going to live, and why they're going to live it that way, and this, that, and the other, yes? If you are only willing to live this way, then two things. One, you're cool to live that way, but be honest about it. And two, allow others to navigate their own way. And if the people decide to leave that and go towards a new path, then let them. Or align to it. Align to something. Don't hog it by using fear tactics to keep people in. Because after all, if this is just the makings of a mental mind and all the rest of it, then you got nothing to worry about because no one would even care. They would pick yours. And if it was not this way, as such you feel within everybody else feels, and within myself, why the need to put chains on people in the first place? Why would you need to chain people to you if your way is the way? You wouldn't, because it would be authentic. People would want to stay. Why would I want to go over there for? I'm happy here. They wouldn't want to do anything else. They would want to stay in this and keep going as they are. They wouldn't want to change nothing. So that's often how I see that sort of stuff. Sure, build me AI. where I can feed my videos into it and pick and choose what you want to come out of that. Yeah, or reword it in a way that is a bit more delicate in the way that you want to hear it. Some things you can't say, some things you can say. I just feel like I gotta say it anyway, just the way it feels, whether it's right nor wrong. At the end of the day, I'm not going to be judged by humans when you're all but gone. It's not going to be humans that judge you. Well, beings, a higher power. It's the universe. It's the universe. The universal structures and anything else within it that it created. If there is anything beyond the universe that created the universe, then that is where I'm going to be answering. Not here. Especially if it's just these words, you know? The freedom to speak. Or is it the freedom to be... Ooh, I don't know about that actually, because you've got a freedom to drop down these horrible things on individuals. Oh, I don't like it. Ooh. I don't know. So wherever it's at, feed it into a AI algorithm or whatever it may be to sugarcoat anything. This looks a little bit like Japan, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of, although it's not exactly Japan, but scouters that go from one to the other, then go in and scout off NEC. Ooh, what's that? Near Earth content. Okay, no, it's not, but it's a chip, and then when the other robots come searching in, they're like, bing! Oh yeah, I know I've got to go here, and then the other one's like, oh yeah, I gotta go to this one. Oh, I gotta go and dig up this one. Oh, I gotta go and get this one. Oh, lovely. And then as it begins to go and go and go, they bring these nice, abundant minerals or whatever it may be. Content, nice, get all of that. Where do you want to do that? Well, let's bring it to the Earth. Why do you want to bring it to the Earth? Well, because humans are just so fascinated with this stuff. It'd be greater if you could learn how to make it yourself. I mean, but, you know, until you've got time to do that, stockpile the solar system. While it's there, what's on Mercury? It says this composition. Yeah, but I mean, like, yeah, that's overall, right? Is there an abundance on all of that? What happens if you dig it? Is there a bit more? Because if that sure as hell worked, then how come when you're flying around a probe around the Earth, how come you can't find those little gold flakes? You have to go and pan them out. You'd be able to find it just like that. But, so I guess there must be a large amount of something in order for it to be detected. As time goes on, I dare say that it would get more and more sensitive. But I think that would be an awful lot of instruments to find out that, to be in that abundance. And that's where I think technology limits, yeah? It's good, but it can do better, we know that. There's an envelope to it. It's a spectrum. And then what happens if humans evolve and then start to see things in a different way? Let's say, would you then need to reprogram the AI to see that too? I honestly think that AI is what you program it to be. An artificial intelligence is only intelligent as long as the information that's been fed into it. What happens if other beings know other stuff? You'd then have to feed this into it. If not, it could be incorrect. That's what I'm on about with more eyes and ears everywhere, when it all begins to come together. It's no different from early Earth, with all the differences around the planets. Wait, around the planet with the continents. It's no different in space. What's that? All of this? Wow, that's amazing. What about you? Oh, all of this. Yeah, ours is kind of been a bit like this. It's completely different to both of yours. But there again, there's the ears, there's the eyes. There's the ears, there's the eyes. Ears, eyes. Shades of grey. Perhaps they fell. Perhaps it's this. You know, you learn something else. Perhaps they know more about something else and are able to feel. Perhaps they don't have any eyes. But they have this all-knowing. But they're eyeless. I mean, still intelligent. I mean, you could be taught an awful lot with that. reading energy fields or whatnot, and maybe they could teach you how to become more in tune with feeling. Because if something else came with that all-knowing, but didn't have eyes or ears, but still perceived in the same way and were able to communicate, that would give you a whole lot of new belief to go into, wouldn't it? That if it's possible there, it's possible in you. And yet perhaps because of disbelief, it shut a door. But now you see it. Oh, I'm sure I'm only going to believe into it. And when you start to believe into it, what happens? It might open a doorway. Perhaps not to people that are there, but evolve into it. It could be true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I reckon. Utilized in some way, learning, whatever. Anyway, I'm going to leave this one here because I feel this is not what I wanted to say. It led off on a different journey because do you know what? I don't even know where that comes from. Me neither. It's not like I write it down and script it. None of this has been scripted. This whole YouTube has not been scripted. It's just something that comes through me, I think. Some of it is some mirroring and some bouncing back, but I don't know. So, sort of surfaces and then something that goes down, I just go in. I don't want to talk anymore about it. I want to feel it and experience a bit more. So yeah, I'm going to leave this one here.